cook in for Blair Best, who's on vacation this week. We start tonight in Southeast Washington, where farmers are bracing for impact from President Trump's immigration policies. They worry the state's multi-billion-dollar agricultural industry will collapse under the promise of mass deportations. It's our big story tonight. Tonight's story features a farmer speaking candidly about just how much Americans rely on immigrant labor when it comes to putting food on our tables. The farming operation is in the community of Eltopia. That's about 4 hours northeast of Portland and due east of the Hanford site in Washington. Sharon Yu brings us part one of her series, Harvest Under Pressure.
It's not an easy job just being on our knees or bending over.
President Trump's crackdown on illegal immigration is expanding.
No hacemos daño, simplemente no andamos haciendo malas así.
We're just working.
No immigrants, no food, no farms.
"15 miles north of Pasco. It's peak asparagus season at Alan Schreiber's farm.
We grow 350 different kinds of crops and varieties.
Tens of thousands of spears are hand-picked and hand-packed. This work is done daily, mostly by immigrant workers who came to America dreaming of opportunities.
That is the kind of work that U.S. citizens will not do.
Why is it that U.S. citizens don't come to do the work?
I will let you cut asparagus and see how long you last.
Harvesting, especially when it comes to produce that grows on ground level like this, is extremely labor intensive. And on a diversified farm like this one, the hours of being hunched over add up.
The work is hard. It's either too hot, too windy, too dusty, too dirty.
Recently, Schreiber says workers are harder to find.
It used to be no problem. We would be turning away farm workers, but that's less and less the case now.
On day one, I will launch the largest deportation program.
Since President Trump took office, the rhetoric of mass deportations has deeply shaken up the farm worker community. According to the American Immigration Council, immigrants make up 77% of miscellaneous agricultural workers in the state. And of the immigrant population, 21.6% or 254,500 are undocumented.
Not seeing such a scared workforce. I mean, they're scared.
Claudia.
All of our workers are documented. But we know a lot of our farm workers in the state of Washington and across the country are not documented. We can't lose these workers. If we had perfect enforcement of federal immigration rules, we'd starve in this country.
Dr. Jacob Vigdor is a professor of public policy and governance at UW.
In the western United States, we have relied on immigrant labor to do a lot of the agricultural work since the 1940s. If we can no longer bring workers here to harvest food in the United States, then we're looking at a future where we're just going to be importing even more of our food. It'll mean higher prices. It'll mean that some things won't be available in the grocery stores the way that we've become accustomed to.
Vigdor says legal channels of employment like seasonal visas have always been an option, but they can be complicated, making them unpopular among employers. Washington's agriculture industry is roughly 12% of the overall state economy. It brings in more than $10 billion in revenue each year and produces 164,000 jobs. Back at Schreiber Farms, Nancy says she takes pride in being a small slice of the industry.
Just to help out the community so they can have something in stores.
News about ICE arrests has shaken her up too, even though she was born in the U.S.
I'm not doing nothing bad. I'm not stealing. I'm not doing anything to hurt them. So why am I doing this? but I still get scared and just decide to stay home.
But staying home doesn't pay the bills.
We're just working to get money to support our family that we have so they can have food on the table and we can have money to pay all the costs we have.
And Asensio does the same. The money he earns cutting asparagus on Schreiber farms, he sends to family back home in Veracruz, Mexico.
A ellos pues están bien, les da una mejor oportunidad ya para vivir allá en mi pueblo, y luego pues yo aquí trabajo y lo poco que gano pues comparto con ellos. Yo también tengo mis gastos aquí.
As for fear,
No, preocupado, pues yo vengo, hago mi trabajo, no ando haciendo nada malo, simplemente es trabajo para ayudar a mi familia.
for Schreiber, who's been farming here for nearly 3 decades, taking care of his produce means taking care of his people.
I am actually closer to that family than I am my own biological family that's still on the farm in Missouri.
And he says he wishes the people who make the laws would think twice about the hands that feed America.
Whoever is pushing a deport them all just doesn't really understand what is going on out here in the fields, in the packing sheds, and in the processing plants. They just don't understand.
So what's going through your mind right now? Do you agree with what Alan said about immigrant labor here in the Northwest? Do you have any experience in that industry? Let us know. Email the story at kgw.com or call and leave a voicemail at 503-226-5090. And coming up tomorrow night in part 2 of the Harvest Under Pressure series, Sharon takes us inside Yakima, speaking with undocumented immigrants who challenge the notion that they're here just in America to freeload. That's tomorrow night, right here on The Story. Closer to home, today we learned more about a Newburgh man detained by ICE agents and finally got a response from ICE on why he was detained. Moises Sotelo is being held at the immigration detention site in Tacoma. He owns a winery services business in Newburgh. He had a video call with his family this weekend, but his daughter tells us she has not received a clear explanation for why he was detained last Thursday. But just a few hours ago, an ICE spokesperson told KGW that Sotelo was arrested because of a past DUI conviction in Newburgh as part of its mission to remove criminal aliens. They say Sotelo will remain in custody pending his removal from the country. Sotelo's daughter tells us she is not aware of any DUI conviction and is still waiting to hear from ICE. So far, our team has not been able to find court documents confirming his DUI conviction in Newburgh. In fact, the Yamhill County District Attorney searched Sotelo's name in its database of available records and found nothing. We'll keep you posted. Over the weekend, thousands of people gathered in downtown Portland as part of the anti-Trump No Kings protests happening across the country. The rally in Portland stayed peaceful. No one was arrested and no damage was reported. At one point, the I-5 off-ramp to the Morrison Bridge was closed while people marched across the bridge, and Portland police closed part of Nadeau Parkway when the crowd exceeded the park's capacity. But 2.5 miles away, several people were arrested Saturday and Sunday during protests outside the ICE building in South Portland. A small group of protesters had been camped out there all week, and their numbers grew on Saturday. They clashed with federal officers who used tear gas, smoke, and flash grenades against them. Portland police also declared a riot for, quote, ongoing criminal activity at the site. They arrested 3 people, one for allegedly assaulting a public safety officer, another for allegedly throwing a rock at a building, and a third person after police say they put traffic control devices into a truck. Then last night, police arrested 4 people for throwing things at the building and at people. And today we talked with neighbors in the area who say they're struggling with having the protests outside their homes.
Tear gas, and concussion bombs, and the majority of the people that live here are seniors and vets, and you know, we have a lot of kids here too, and we have air conditioning and we can't put our air conditioning on. It gets so hot in that building because of the tear gas coming in.
Yesterday, Portland Mayor Keith Wilson released a statement saying Portland does not need the National Guard. He wrote, deploying military troops to the heart of an American city, as the administration has in Los Angeles, is an unwarranted, unprecedented, and unconstitutional action. If we witness federal abuse following this incident or any other pretext, we will bring it to light, take legal action, and take the fight to federal courts where we will prevail. A major update now in the Gorge. All level 3 go now evacuations from the Rowena fire burning near the Dalles have been downgraded to either level 1 or 2, and all previous level 1 evacuations have been dropped. Crews made some good progress over the weekend, with the fire now around 24% contained. While it's burned more than 3,500 acres and destroyed more than 50 homes, fire officials think they now have the upper hand. Devin Haskins has the update.
Throughout its 3,500-acre path, 56 homes and over 90 structures have been destroyed in the Rowena fire in less than a week. One of the hardest hit areas along Simonelli Road, once full of homes. As the fire swept through, homeowners say they had little time to gather what they could and get out. Some good news, fire crews say the fire isn't growing, but is only 24% contained as of Monday morning. They say 24% means they're confident it won't cross fire lines in those areas. ODF says infrared cameras also show very few hotspots, and that those they do find are few and far between.
We haven't seen fire growth since the early parts of this fire.
Kevin Witcherly lives just up the street from Simonelli Road. He says the fire on Wednesday came in fast. While he feels lucky his home survived, he's dealing with something else.
Survivor's guilt. Well, shouldn't be here. Those houses I thought would go last. These ones I thought would go first. So I feel guilty.
And even though hundreds of firefighters are still here fighting this fire, ODF calls it in the mop-up stages. Near the Dalles, I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Let's bring in Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino now for a look at conditions in the Gorge tonight and what to expect in the coming days. Matt.
Hey, Catherine, thanks so much. You know, I guess the good news is we're not seeing any smoke emanating from that Rowena fire anymore. Remember, when this started last week, it was just billowing out right towards our camera on the Oregon Veterans Home, which to the west of where the fire is burning out by Rowena. So good news there. 80 degrees. It's still windy, sustained at 23, gusting to 31 miles an hour. So yes, it's still not the best conditions for fighting fire, especially with the low humidity. I guess the good news is it hasn't been too hot, which helps the firefighters. And even though the wind has just been raging since last week, they've really gotten this thing under control, which is just a testament to the great work that they've done. Now, the weather and the wind will continue overnight tonight, but as it's been doing each night, the winds will gradually back off. And then after about midnight, the gusts finally drop below 20 miles an hour, and they'll stay down there, probably drop below 10 miles an hour in the very early morning hours. But look, by noon, they're already ramping up to 23, 25, 26 miles an hour, and will peak again like they did today, up around 30 miles an hour before backing off with the cooling of the evening. So the wind just keeps blowing as it does this time of the year in the Gorge. It's very, very common to get this kind of a weather pattern. So tonight, windy this evening, but the winds will be lighter after midnight. Tomorrow, light winds in the morning, strong winds in the afternoon. And then Wednesday, still windy. In fact, the winds may actually pick up a tick on Wednesday as we see cooler weather get reinforced here on the west side of the state. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the fire. Our headlines, though, for the week, we get sunshine again tomorrow. Sprinkles on Wednesday morning. That's for the west side. That won't be falling east of the Cascades at all. But a good soaking rain is likely Friday and Saturday, and that may produce rain east of the Cascades and snow in the Cascades, if you can believe that or not, right as we change seasons into summer. Right now, though, sure feels like summer, 77 degrees, just a beautiful evening in Portland. Weak weather system moved on through this morning. Another one comes through tomorrow night and Wednesday morning to produce those sprinkles. But then we see the whole mass, the body of this cool air mass in the northern Pacific, roll on down into the northwest and bring us that rain potential that I've been talking about. But tomorrow looks like a great day. A few speckles of rain on Wednesday morning, inconsequential. Notice the Dalles points east, all still clear while we get the low clouds here on the west side. And Thursday looks pretty good too. And then on Friday and Saturday, that's when this cool air mass drops right on in. Frequent showers, potential thunderstorms, but there will be rain and the snow level all the way down to about 5,000 feet, maybe even a bit lower. So the rain Wednesday morning, not much. But as we go into the weekend, Friday and Saturday, look, the modeling giving us about an inch of rain. That would be our most significant rain in about a month, a little bit longer. And then, yes, using the snowfall forecast map, several inches were possible in the Cascades as we go through Friday and Saturday. Right now, though, it's beautiful and stay that way through tomorrow. Catherine.
Thanks, Matt. We'll hope for the best for our friends out in the gorge.
You bet.
Up next on the story, you've heard Matt talk about lightning strikes, especially as fire season ramps up. But how exactly do you track lightning? We'll take you inside the agency where it happens in Boise when the story returns. Welcome back. Experts in the field of psilocybin research say one of the big reasons why Oregon's regulated treatment industry is struggling right now is the stigma brought on by a cultural war on drugs. Stephanie Dormerat sat down with those industry experts for tonight's episode of Straight Talk. Nearly 2 years after Oregon opened the nation's first psilocybin treatment center, the industry is struggling to gain a steady flow of clients. Stephanie asked why some people are hesitant to give it a try.
You know, we've all grown up in a culture of the drug war, right? No wonder there's so much fear that, surrounds these substances. Is that was intentional. So we have a lot of healing and information and education that needs to happen in order to sort of culturally reprogram, well, what's the real story here?
They also talked about the high cost preventing some people from trying psilocybin, as well as accessibility and what researchers say the future may hold for psilocybin therapy. Watch the full episode of Straight Talk tonight at 7 right after the story, or anytime on our free TV app KGW+. And with wildfire season upon us, Matt Zaffino and our whole KGW weather team monitor incoming strikes for lightning strikes. The National Interagency Fire Center, based in Boise, Idaho, is responsible for tracking lightning strikes not just here in the Northwest, but across the country. Their goal? Try to anticipate, then speed up responses to lightning-caused fires. Audrielle Tackett shows us how they do it.
Jim Wallman has been tracking storms for 4 years as a fire prediction meteorologist at the National Interagency Fire Center.
I'm trying to help in national resource allocation. So I don't make the decisions, but I inform those decision makers, what's happening to the weather, where the problems could be.
When lightning strikes, he and fire analysts at NIFC are watching closely. They're not just looking at a single storm, but a full national picture.
The first thing I kind of do as it's starting to happen is I kind of get a national perspective where we're getting thunderstorms. This is the satellite perspective again. So you're seeing like visible clouds, and then these different colors are satellite observed lightning over the last 30 minutes.
From satellite views to color-coded maps, lightning is tracked minute by minute in order to have the fastest response.
We have infrared detection flights that can go out and fly after lightning and see where these fires are with the human eye, but you have infrared that you can kind of get an idea where these fires are and then go put it out, where before we'd have to wait for that smoke to emerge.
Analysts use satellite, radar, and ground data to spot where fires are starting in real time.
We can monitor in real time where these lightning strikes are occurring. So normally we get them within 30 seconds.
As of Wednesday afternoon, nearly 50,000 lightning bolts struck the ground in the past 24 hours in a portion of the Northwest. A prolific lightning event, in Wallman's words. And rain doesn't completely eliminate the risk of fire.
Sometimes those fields are just a little bit damper, so it may not show up right away. And that becomes really important because those are the fires that can show up 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes after the lightning event.
Just last Tuesday in Central Oregon, a storm was blamed for, get this, more than 5,000 lightning strikes, which sparked at least a dozen fires. Fortunately, all of those fires are out now. Up next on the story, a shark attack in Washington. But it's definitely not what you think. We have the viral video showing how this time the shark landed on Mother Nature's menu and the unusual looking seal delighted to dig in. The woman who captured the moment and an expert to break it down for us when the story returns. The Northwest is known for its incredible outdoor splendor and unexpected surprises. For one example turned viral video, let's head up to Bainbridge Island, west of Seattle. That's where one woman captured an elephant seal enjoying an unexpected feast. Brady Wakayama has the story.
Just was really swallowing it whole, and it was just an extreme nature moment that I had to immortalize. It has a shark.
The circle of life caught on camera.
It's eating a giant shark. Come down here right now. Come down here.
An elephant seal eating what appears to be a dogfish shark as its dinner Tuesday night.
It's literally swallowing it all.
Vera Panescu-Reich was at her parents' Bainbridge Island home during this moment. She felt like a fish out of water, witnessing something this raw.
Worried I might pass out and fall in the water from the straight shock and amazement I was feeling. And I would fall on top of it and then it would eat me.
This video is now making waves on Vera's TikTok with more than 500,000 views and over 50,000 likes in just a couple days.
I can't believe it's real. I think I've watched it 1,000 times now just to make sure that I actually saw what I was seeing. Hi!
Elephant seals down here are pretty unusual.
Gary Heinrich works at Central Puget Sound Marine Mammal Stranding Network, an organization that responds to sea creatures in crisis throughout the Sound. Although seeing elephant seals in Washington isn't too common, Heinrich says elephant seals eating smaller sharks like this one in this video is, along with other favorites like squids, fishes, and rays.
They've got some pretty decent canines, but they really don't have much in the way of chewing down there, so they swallow it whole. And they'll position it so it goes down easy, or easy as can be. But they have extremely powerful jaws.
And this powerful moment will stick with Vera forever. Hopeful to see her new friend again soon.
I'm super thankful. It touched me on a spiritual level maybe. I feel closer to nature now. I'm gonna be having an eye out for that guy anytime I'm ever on the water.
And that, my friends, is the end of our show. Thanks so much for watching. It's been a pleasure being with you. Up next, Straight Talk is coming your way. And hey, if you ever miss an episode of The Story at 6:30, we re-air episodes at 8:30 and 10:30 p.m. on our TV app, KGW+. You can also catch it the next morning at 11:30 a.m. Download the free KGW+ app right now. It's on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. Blair Best is off enjoying some well-earned vacation, so Evan Watson will be with you the rest of the week. Have a great night, and we'll see you right back here for The Story tomorrow night at 6:30.